Okay, so we're back at a Terminator Salvation marquee light. Marquee light is important for these games. You know, they look nice. When they're dark like this, it doesn't look very nice. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this apart and change the marquee light. I already made a video on a marquee light, but I just wanted to show the similarities that each one of these lights have. They still have a fluorescent light in there. They still have a starter. Only difference is this light is probably going to be a little bit longer, so you just have to make sure you have the right fluorescent light. So let me go ahead and pull it apart, and then we'll take a look in there and see what's going on. Alright, so if you've never opened up one of these Terminator Salvation marquees, they do come apart in sections. First part is you need to remove this part, which is sort of like a really dark lens. It's almost see-through. It's just for the sensors. You remove this part, put it somewhere safe. And then of course you expose the sensors, but then there's screws here. You see the screw right here, there's one right there, there's one right there, and there's a couple more down the line. You have to remove this whole plate right here, this whole bar, to be able to get inside to the marquee. I know it's a pain in the butt. Not all games are like this. Some games are just, you know, have a piece of plastic with the marquee on there, and then you can just remove it and there's a light. Some are a little bit more labor intensive. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these screws and take this bar out, probably unplug the sensors so that way we don't you know, let them hang there and get the wires stretched out or broken. So let me go ahead and remove this part and we'll check it out. Alright, so I have all these screws removed and I'm ready to take this bracket out. I already kind of pulled it forward. I didn't show you that part. I just pulled it forward a little bit like this. And then I unplugged the cable from the sensor right here so that way I can pull everything out at one point. So, like I said, once you remove the screws, it's ready to come out. You just kind of have to grab everything, or if you want, it's going to be hard with one hand. So, bear with me for a second. So, what I did was I just removed the sensor bar because it has this channel right here. It's right there with the channel where the marquee actually sits in. You know, the paper, the back marquee and the plastic, it sits inside that little groove, and it sits inside the bottom one, the same thing on the bottom. So now to remove the sensors, we'll remove the actual marquee part, just kind of take that out and expose the light, and see what I mean? It's a much bigger light. It does have a starter in it. I might have to remove the actual plate from the fluorescent light fixture, and then we're going to be back in business. So let me go ahead and put this stuff away and go grab a light and see what we can do. Okay, so I did make a small mistake. I opened up the lid here and it is not a starter. This is ballast based. So I'm hoping that when I replace the light, it'll turn back on with no problems. If it doesn't turn on, then I'm gonna have to replace the ballast. Still a fairly easy job. I just don't have these ballasts in stock, so I might have to make a video for that at a later time. So let me go ahead and locate a light for this and hope that the ballast is good. So give me a few seconds. So I reinstalled a new light. I put the back plate back on to the ballast, to the light fixture, itself. The ballast, I didn't do anything with it, just kind of closed it all back, make sure I didn't pinch any wires in there. I put a new light, fluorescent right in there, and so let's plug it in and hope that it turns on. If it doesn't turn on, then we will need to order a ballast for it. So, oh, and if I haven't said it before, safety first. You know, remove the power from whatever it is you're working on, so that way you don't get shocked, you won't get hurt, and the game won't get damaged in any way. So now that it's plugged back in, sorry, let me put a little light on here. I guess I don't know how to turn my own. All right, sorry about that. All right, so it's plugged back in. We're gonna go ahead and turn it on. Power on, and we're going to go to the front, and bam, the light is good to go. So there's nothing wrong with the ballast, thank God, because ballast's a little bit of a pain in the butt to replace. They're not really, but I just don't like doing them. So I guess it's done. We're just going to go ahead and place the marquee back in together, screw everything back on, connect the sensor, and then put the game into play, and then walk away. So let me go ahead and start on that. All right, so just to show you a little trick, I usually like to try and tape the marquee itself to the piece of plastic, so that way when I slide in the sensor rail, it'll slide into this channel and, you know, fit quite nicely. Yes, you might have a little small parts that might be trimmed up. You can take those as well, but you won't really notice that, and it will be fine because I'm going to slide it in from one side and slide it down. So let's go ahead and take care of that. And remember, we still have that one plug that we need to plug in. All right, so we have the sensor plate in, which does hold the marquee in. Everything looks nice. I did remember to plug in the actual sensor board, so that way when I turn the game on, this will actually work. What I did was I sort of held everything together and put one screw in, screwed that bad boy in, just to hold everything. This thing is rigid enough to stay straight without it flopping or moving around, so it gives you the ability to be able to just let go and just install the new other screws. So let's go ahead and finish putting in these screws to hold this bracket in. We'll put in the other, I'm not sure what this is called, but the blackout plate for the sensors, sensor cover, I don't know. We'll install that, turn the game on, and you know, let her go. Just a quick reminder, when you're putting in these little screws to hold the bracket down, be careful, because you could accidentally almost crush a wire. You know, I almost did that myself. I wanted to look at it real quick to make sure I wasn't damaging anything, and I noticed the wire was behind the screw, and if I would have screwed it all the way down, I probably would have cut that wire and then try to have a, you know, fun time trying to figure out why something is not working, why my guns aren't responding. So just be careful of screwing these down, make sure there's no wires behind them, and screw them nice and tight, and then you know, finish up the job. Put the plate on and let her go. As for the cover, just notice that it does have sort of like an angled side, and one side is kind of flat, sort of angles towards one side. See how it angles? That side is the side that you're going to put over it. I'm sure it'll work fine if you put it this way, but it just won't fit the way it should. So make sure you put it the right way. That way it fits in its groove, and yeah, it should be good. This is kind of floppy. It's not as rigid as the other one, so I like to start off with the center screws. That way at least it holds in the center, and then I can continue on with the rest. So let me go ahead and do this. Okay, so game is done. It's plugged in. We're gonna go around to the front and make sure that the, oh wait, you can turn it on. Oops, forgot to turn on the game. So we're gonna turn on the game. Marquee light is on. That's all we needed to fix. We don't really have to test anything. The testing is making sure that it turns on. Marquee is on. Game is turning on. Game is booting up. If you want to go a little further, you can test the game for, you know, your own pleasure, and then walk away from it. But right now, the game is good to go. Again, I apologize. This game does not have a starter. It does have a ballast. If the light would have not turned on, we would have had to replace the ballast. Maybe next time I'll make a video on how to replace the ballast. They're not hard. It's just a lot of wires to, you know, put together and make sure everything's the correct way. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.